East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you on your Tuesday evening, and just going to jump back in here and give you another update right quick on what's going on with our weather across the state of Alabama. And what you're looking at right now is a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is over in Hale County, Alabama. And this is going to be an observed tornado. This warning is in effect until 10:30. And this is going to be for a confirmed tornado located near Akron, or 13 miles northeast of Etowah, moving to the northeast at around 40 miles per hour. What you're looking at on the radar is the lowering of the coefficient radar, the dual polar, where it shows debris in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And this is telling us that we have debris up at about 7,000 feet, which is fairly significant. So that is confirming that we do have a tornado there, and it is picking up debris. Now, quite often that debris is trees and that sort of thing, but nonetheless, getting a pretty good return there on the coefficient, and it is confirming that we do have a tornado over there. And the National Weather Service is telling us that it is observed. So we have ground truth reports that we have a tornado over there as well. So if you have folks who live over in Hale County, if we have folks that are in the area of Moundville, or right there on 69, maybe just a little bit south of Moundville, be sure and call them and make sure that they are aware of what's going on. Now, to put this all in perspective, that's over west of the Centerville-Brent area. If you know where the University of Montevallo is, this is to the west, a little bit southwest of Montevallo, to the west of Clanton, Alabama, to the southwest of Birmingham. And this particular storm is moving off to the northeast and will probably, if it holds together, end up somewhere south of Birmingham Metro. This particular area of the state has not received much in the way of rain today, so this is a very ripe area for severe weather to form. West of I-65 and south of the I-20 corridor is where we really expected to see the most of the severe weather in Alabama tonight, and that is indeed what is taking place. So let me take the coefficient off and put the reflectivity back on. This is a product you're more accustomed to looking at. And you can see, let me go back to the base velocity, and there it is. I mean, it's it maybe not quite as well defined as it was just a few moments ago, but still very easy to pick out where that tornado was located there just south of Moundville. So let me go back to the reflectivity, and then we'll back out, and we'll come over to East Alabama and show you what's taking place across East Alabama and West Georgia. And at this hour, we still have showers roaming around. Don't have much in the way of thunderstorm activity. It's just heavy rain. And we'll start up here along I-20. We've got a heavy band of showers there from Bowden back up to the I-20 corridor and down to Rootville over to Central Hatchie. And then in Randolph County, some pretty heavy rain just north of Newell, down to just east of Wedowee, and then down to Roanoke. 5 Points getting in on the action at this hour. Some heavy rain moving into Lynette. And on down into Lee County, most of central and western Lee County has moderate to heavy rainfall taking place now. And down in extreme southern Lee County, we do have a pretty strong cell down here that's dumping some very heavy rainfall on the south end of Lee County. But none of this is severe, and actually this rain that we've been experiencing over the last several hours across East Alabama is helping cool the atmosphere so that when this energy back in West Alabama gets into East Alabama, it should help that area of activity weaken as it moves into East Alabama and West Georgia. So we have not seen an extension of the tornado watch over the last hour or so, and you can see that these storms are reaching the outer limits of that tornado watch over in West Alabama, and they're not extending it further to the east. So that is a good indication. And temperatures are just simply cooler over here in East Alabama because we've had all this rain for the last several hours. And we're beginning to see some flooding issues up here north of the I-20 corridor as well. Some locations up there around Birmingham and northeast of Birmingham already picked up 2 to 3 inches of rain, and it's still raining heavily up there. So that's turning into a flood event. And then up in northwest Georgia, we have a few showers right there along I-20 stretching up to around Rome. Let me go back and take that shot off and put the composite on so we can see the overall big picture, and there it is. We had that thunderstorm north of I-20 just to the west and northwest of downtown Atlanta. Then we have the tornadic thunderstorm cell over in Hale County. And then we do still have some heavy storms back in Mississippi, just to the northwest of Hattiesburg, that will still be another hour or two before it even gets into Alabama. So you can see the back edge of all this stuff still back in portions of Arkansas, back into central Louisiana. So that's why when I told you earlier today it would be probably 5 or 6 a.m. tomorrow morning for the absolute back edge of this stuff gets into our area, and we'll have periods of showers and thunderstorms in between. But again, I think the storms will be weakening as they get into East Alabama. Don't anticipate much in the way of severe weather over here in East Alabama or West Georgia, but again, we're going to keep an eye on it just to make sure. We can tell you what we think, and based on the latest data that we have, but these storms could care less what we think. Sometimes they have a mind of their own, so we're going to keep an eye on this as we go throughout the rest of the night. So I'm looking at some questions over here on the board. Ashley, will Wedowee, Alabama get severe weather tonight? I don't think so. That's what we were just talking about, Ashley. I think these storms will be weakening as they move across the I-85 corridor into East Alabama. They're going to be moving into much more stable conditions across East Alabama. So I would not expect the storms, the tornadic storms that we see in West Alabama to make it into East Alabama. Okay, I just had to do a little house cleaning there and take care of a couple of spammers. Hey, Cecilia, good to see you in here this evening. Tornado risk for Temple, Georgia is low, but it's not zero. And that's the case for all of East Alabama and West Georgia. The tornado risk is low, but it is not zero. Anytime you have thunderstorms around, you can't completely rule out that possibility, but the atmosphere for the formation of severe thunderstorms and tornadoes is much, much more conducive over in West Alabama, west of I-65, than it is across East Alabama or east of I-65. It's just the way this whole system is set up. The severe weather possibilities are much better west of I-65 this evening and into tomorrow morning. And again, I wanted to come on because I know you're hearing about these tornado warnings over in West Alabama. So that's why I wanted to jump back in here and give you a quick update and show you what's taking place. We really only have one storm that has a tornado warning attached to it at the moment. And this is a tornado warning for east central Greene County. The warning for Greene County has been canceled, and the warning for Hale County remains in effect until 10:30. And at this moment, let's look at the velocity. If the tornado is still on the ground, it has just crossed over 69 there south of Moundville as it continues on off to the northeast. Be right in this general vicinity here. The signature is still there, but it doesn't look quite as strong as it did earlier. Again, that's over in Hale County. That's over in West Alabama, just south of Tuscaloosa. To put it in perspective, it will stay well south of Tuscaloosa, but it's kind of running parallel to I-20, south of I-20 and south of Tuscaloosa. Well, Cody, we don't have any tornadoes in northwest Georgia or east Alabama. It's all over in West Alabama. And West Alabama is Tornado Alley. From Tuscaloosa all the way up to the Tennessee state line and back to the Mississippi state line is where the majority of the tornadoes in the state of Alabama take place, and that's exactly where they are tonight. Right now around the University of Alabama, it looks pretty rough to the south. I mean, you got a nasty thunderstorm over Tuscaloosa and to the south of Tuscaloosa, but the tornadic part of the storm is well south of I-20, and it's moving northeast. So this particular tornado-warned storm will not affect the University of Alabama or the city of Tuscaloosa. It'll be in the southernmost reaches of Tuscaloosa County. So the University of Alabama is safe right now. Well, the storms are moving northeast, Cody, not northwest. And, you know, we do get a fair amount of storms, but what generally happens across East Alabama is we get the leftovers. The stuff's really, really bad in West Alabama, and then it tracks right across the Chilton County area, maybe up into Shelby County, St. Clair County, and then as it moves into East Alabama, a lot of times, thankfully, a lot of times the tornadic part of these storms fall apart. It's just that we're typically a few degrees cooler on the eastern side of the state versus the western side of the state. And most weather systems are thermodynamic dependent. This particular system, not so much because of the veering of the upper levels of the atmosphere with this particular storm is just off the chain, and so these storms are surviving even though we have lost the heating of the day by several hours, and we were not that warm today anyway. So this is not a thermodynamic type dependent storm. I mean, we're still getting tornadic activity forming off to the west, even though heating of the daytime is not a factor. We just lost that tornado warning, so that's a good thing. And one thing I would point out, too, all of the tornado warnings that we've seen this afternoon and this evening have been short-lived, relatively speaking. We haven't seen any long-duration tornadoes on the ground. I mean, we'll see a warning issued, and it may last for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes tops, and then the storm weakens, and we'll lose the tornado warning. And that's exactly what's happened with the Hale County storm. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning officially, but I think that's probably going to expire. It expires in 8 minutes. So right now we do not have any warnings for this particular storm over in extreme southern Tuscaloosa and northern Hale County. So we did lose that tornado warning. So as it stands at the moment, we have no tornado warnings in the state of Alabama. We do have, and I believe this will be the third tornado warning up here in Mississippi, near Columbus, Mississippi. We had a confirmed tornado earlier near the Columbus Air Force Base that moved on over into Alabama. Then we had a second one right behind it. Now here comes a third one. So these folks up here around Columbus, Mississippi and Millport, Alabama have been running from tornadoes all afternoon and half the night. So even though we have no severe weather warnings in Alabama at the moment, probably you folks up here in Walker County, be on over here around Fayette, back toward Millport, Lamar County, Vernon, be on your heightened alert, because you're probably going to go under another warning if this storm holds together. As we go back and look at the entire state, as you can see right there, we do have that tornado watch. It basically runs from I-65 back to the Mississippi state line, basically from just north of Birmingham all the way down to just north of Mobile. And that's where we would expect to see any tornadic thunderstorms this evening. You'll notice central Alabama, east Alabama, west Georgia not covered by any tornado watches. So not a complete guarantee, but odds of seeing any tornadic activity over here in east Alabama or west Georgia are pretty slim. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. I just wanted to jump back in here and give you another quick update. Unless something changes that is significant, I most likely will not come back on again tonight. However, if we were to start seeing severe weather developing in central Alabama or east Alabama, I will come right back and continue with live wall-to-wall coverage for you here on Dr. Don's Weather. Ask that you support us at all if you possibly can. The link to support us scrolls here in the chat room, and all you have to do is click on it, and you can help support us. You can send us those Facebook stars, and several of you have already done that tonight, and we appreciate it. Or you can also go to our website and click on that donate button. The link for that is also scrolling in the chat room, and we appreciate any support that you can give us. We depend on that to be able to continue to bring you our severe weather coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather. Well, okay, I'd like to know more about this. Christina Crawford, where was that at? You went to bed during a bad storm, and then you woke up and a tornado was blasting your town apart. Just curious where that took place. And I'll wait. Hey, Rock. Well, Rock Mills that fell up in the house. Yeah, it's going to snow about 6 feet somewhere. Switch over to the Atlanta radar just for a second. I'm hearing some thunder outside. I just want to see what the weather's doing up here. I don't see anything showing up on the... Oh, yeah, dude. See there's 2 strikes just north of Gainesville. I'm right there where the A is on Dahlonega. That's where I'm broadcasting from. So that is where the thunder just came from that I was hearing. We do have a special weather statement for those of you that are in Georgia. They're just north of I-20, northwest of Atlanta, that right around Dallas, Georgia. Several counties are under a significant weather advisory, special weather statement. A little thunder and lightning out there around Anniston, back up toward Jacksonville. Some thunder there on the east side of Birmingham. And then we have those two storms that at one time were tornadic, coming out of Hale County up into southern Tuscaloosa County and headed toward Shelby County. Cross over I-85 right there, right over the National Weather Service office there in Birmingham. All right, so I was just looking at a report of damage on those the storm that was just that they just released that tornado warning on, the one that came through Greene and Hale County. Greene County, Alabama Emergency Management is reporting some damage. They're reporting damage at an apartment complex near Utah. It doesn't say, doesn't give us any indication of what kind of damage. But that's about the area that we saw the debris signature at about 7,000 feet. So we are beginning to get some reports of damage in this area. Erica, are you talking about Carrollton, Georgia? You're just south of I-20 in Carrollton, Georgia? Because it wouldn't be doing much there right now. I mean, the severe weather's still way back over here in West Alabama. I mean, you got a little thunder and lightning around you and a couple of pockets of rain, but nothing severe. That weather's still back over here in West Alabama, even back into Mississippi. No, Neil, it was south of Tuscaloosa, down around Moundville. So it was about 20 miles south of Tuscaloosa. That has since dissipated. Yeah, Chambers County is in the same boat with everybody else across East Alabama. I don't anticipate anything severe. Could you have a rumble of thunder outside? Yes. Could you have some gusty winds? Yes. But all the tornadic stuff should stay over in West Alabama. We've had rain across East Alabama on and off now for the last 2 to 3 hours, and that's helped stabilize the atmosphere. And we never did really predict severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia, but when you have it over here in West Alabama, you got to pay attention to it just in case. And we're still not completely out of the woods. There's still a marginal risk of severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia, but so far, everything has stayed over close to the Mississippi state line, and without question, the largest number of tornado warnings we've seen this afternoon and tonight have been in Mississippi, which is where the bullseye predicted to be, and so far that's where it has been. Okay, so is there potential for Pine Mountain, Georgia? Yeah, it's a very small one, but there is I mean, again, folks, anytime there are thunderstorms around, you can't say zero chance. But chances of seeing any severe weather tonight are much better west of I-65 versus east of I-65. And for those of you that are in Georgia, that's the main interstate that splits the state of Alabama from north to south. From Birmingham to Montgomery, that's the I-65 corridor. And as is often the case, especially during nighttime events, odds are much better that we'll see severe weather over in West Alabama rather than East Alabama. And I'll put this in motion right quick so you can kind of get a sense for the direction of the storms. Again, these storms just south of Tuscaloosa, which prompted us to come back on just a few moments ago, they have now weakened below severe limits, but they're moving off to the northeast, so that's going to be a Birmingham Metro event. And really, there's nothing severe downstream that's lined up to make it into East Alabama at the moment. All these storms you see down here around Auburn, over toward Columbus, none of that stuff is severe. It's very, very heavy rainfall and probably some gusty winds, but well below severe limits. And if we look back over in Mississippi, we do see one tornado-warned storm back over here northwest of Hattiesburg, moving off to the northeast. But there's just not a lot. And we're hoping that it stays that way. Ben, there's probably going to be a good bit of rain around. I mean, it's not going to be the best driving weather, but I don't anticipate anything severe at 4 a.m. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for now. Again, I'm going to be monitoring this throughout the night, and if I see a reason to come back and provide you with severe weather coverage, I will. Of course, if anything happens across East Alabama and West Georgia, we'll be right here to provide that information to you on Dr. Don's weather. If not, I'll see you back in here tomorrow with our primetime forecast. Again, don't forget to help support us if you possibly can. You can scroll back up through the chat room, and there's a link that posts ever so often where you can send us Facebook stars, or you can go hit that link and make a donation to us. Help us continue to operate here at Dr. Don's Weather. Have a great rest of your evening and morning, and again, we'll be back with you if conditions warrant right here on Dr. Don's Weather.